the one interested in for today is about solutions to over-packaging and single-use plastics, also related to microplastic pollution. All this is to prevent pollution, and no time for those who want to follow the slides. Also to welcome all of you. So, as I was saying, Europe puts money on the table to avoid microplastic pollution. And in that context, Buddie-Pack is funding all. And the strategy of Buddie-Pack is to support plastics reuse in the context of avoiding single-use plastics. And here we want to focus on its reuse with a multidisciplinary approach, combining the technological, economic, and social innovation. That's why so we need a lot of skills for this, and it's to achieve specific objectives. So around the reuse and how to promote it, we have several ambitions. So as I was saying, we have the technological aspect. We want to develop technological solutions for the design and manufacture of reusable plastic packaging with the appropriate functional properties to require to have as many cycles as we could. Regarding the social aspects, we have a team focusing on understanding the consumer expectation regarding the reusable plastic packaging, identifying what they find acceptable, and overall assess drivers and barriers to behavioral change. Regarding the safety, we have technical centers addressing the topic of ensuring the safety of the packaging, the risk management, and as we said, we want to avoid microplastic even reuse rate. Of course, you might have something single use, but even for reuse, we want to prevent those, so those with being able to count them, characterize them, and of course prevent them. Regarding the economic aspects, we want to develop sustainable business-driven strategies. So the idea is really to have sustainable business strategies, not to just have one shot and then forgot in the field. We really want to be there for the long run. And for this, we want also to carry out large-scale demonstration trials, so as to address all the previous objectives with an application directly putting the packaging in real life and contact with the customers, having the logistic chain, the cycle, the washing. I think it's quite ambitious, and overall, so we want to support reuse, make also heard, make the topic heard about. We want to have it on the table for the general audience to hear about. As I say, those are very ambitious objectives also because it's quite a lot of skills, actually, very different skills. No one is expected all in different fields. So we are quite a team. We have 20 partners across 6 countries in Europe. Some of them actually present on the fair. So we are co-exhibiting with Eternity Systems, one of the industrial washers. I know that on the fair there is Vital. There as well, and I go around 500. So, myself, Marie-Alix Berthet, I am working at IPC, it's a technological research center for plastics and composites, and I'm the coordinator of the project. We also work on innovation, technical properties, recycling topics. We're working also with the ACTA, that's here about managing the communication, to make the project visible and heard, and reusable visible and heard. And ACTA is an association for food centers. Among them, we have the LNE and CDCPA, who are working actively on the packaging safety. So, characterize the packaging, assess the overall degradation, set up the protocol, the washing protocols at lab scale. Working hand in hand with, as I said, industrial washers, as well as Eternity System and Usage. right shape for washing. We have serious business on board, agency working on all the economic aspects, really studying the sustainable viability. So the partner here is Passion, the German partner working on sensors to sniff the digital sniffer to detect molecules before or after washing to make sure about what's volatile around the packaging. So it's a characterization tool that will be included on a washing pilot line. Did I not mention there's Health Industries, a manufacturer for the packaging we intend to develop. We work also with detergent, also known as pre-stains, or detergents is a detergent supplier for the industrial washing lines. And those I didn't mention until now are our industrial partners for the use cases. I will specifically focus on the use cases because with other partner we're really putting the packaging in application. One last picture. So this is again we're on the salon we have a booth just before regarding the use cases. We have 6 different packaging that we developed for the project within different fields and markets. I'll start on the left. We have 2 B2B use cases, so business to business. One is for collective catering, so think about school canteens, hospitals. For them, we design a tray, multi-portion, full portion to serve the food, so food application, prepared food application. It's also done with Spanish partner. Companies, the producer of raw meats, for them we design a tray for delivering the raw meats to restaurants and pubs when the meat is in spot. Then it's made, needs to be washed, etc. And it's never meant to consume directly on the packaging. And you have like a film, a peelable film that will be unfortunately single use, but we want it to be recyclable. And then on the other side, we have the business to consumer, B2B packaging. On the top right, we have Vital, which is for takeaway food. So Vital is already on the market, they're already in the fair, and they're the most advanced industrial partner. They already a lot of knowledge about reuse, especially regarding the traceability of the packaging. And the last use cases, so we have usage that you might know as a washer, but here the need to coordinate a use case in supermarkets. It would be a tray for prepared food that you can buy lunch corner, for example, and then the tray itself will be reusable, and again with that you have a film just to use. And the two last one, so bag-in box and refillable bottles are joint use case, also in supermarket, and it's our only use case non-food, it's not a food application. It's the one for detergent for home care. Think about a softener for your washing machine, and it will go in the supermarkets, have the bottle from us, so we need fill it with the detergent from the bag-in box and then go back home, bring it back on its empty basically. So those are our use cases. A lot of people involved in this project, as you saw, so people working to help us use these non-supervised by the large-scale demonstrations. And as I said, we want to apply the different activities to those use cases. So this is the timeline of the project. So we're already around the middle of the project, starting in 2022 and the beginning of 2026. The first phase maybe was about prototyping, gathering specification, to establish design rules. We also had regulation watch to make sure that we can agree with the different regulations of Europe, because we have different countries of application. We started in the beginning to work on social and behavioral aspect, because you can apply that to different use cases, but you can also look at the social aspect of reuse in general, and also negotiable as you start on what was previously done by other teams, but in the project we wanted to have the overall choice of material, of processes, and in this teaching and also studying the recycling of the packaging. The business strategies were started a bit later because we wanted to make sure about the specifications and the overall logistics that will go around the space. For nuclear safety also needed a bit more time because we needed to have the first prototypes and the choice of materials to start on those. And the last demonstration started a bit ahead of the 2024 because my tool is already on the market, so we could have first information from what we already have on the market. But most of the large-scale demonstration will occur in 2025, ready to have all the packaging developed for the project in the different demonstration sites. We started also from the beginning to focus on the impact assessment. So you may have heard of an NCA, life cycle assessment. We have the same for cost assessment and for social impact assessment. And we started the beginning first with technology choice and then with screening. First elements of answer and all to identify where to focus later on for the use. It will last until the end of the project to have an overall impact on all use cases compared to all other materials as well. And last but not least, we do want to have an effort regarding standards. So following the work of quality and safety, where aging protocol are established, we want also to contribute to standards to help define what is the reusable packaging. Or if someone wants to say, okay, is my packaging reusable, you could say, okay, follow this protocol, do this characterization for each cycle, and then you should know if it has or not sustainable. And so 2025 will have the deployment. All the packaging will be in contact with the customers or the users. Is better? You couldn't hear me before. Sorry, but I think that you can watch it again to begin. Okay. So as I said, 2025 we should have the deployment on the demonstration sites, already testing and learning lessons about all this work. Ending in 2026, hopefully with the sustainable implementations of these new schemes. We hope to have done hopefully with the project. So, as I said, we're in the middle, around the middle of the project, so we do have first achievements. I'm proud to show you the work of eco-design. So they design the packaging for different use cases. We do have here a tray, multi-portion tray for the collective catering. In the middle, you do have single portion for specific diets, allergies, or such in canteens. On the right, you have the bottle for the detergent that would be in the hand of customers, really, to bring back home the detergent. On the bottom, you have a 3-compartment bowl for Vital, for the takeaway use case. And in the middle here, we have a tray for down meat, so for the raw meat, that would be in a skin pack. So those are new designs really made for the project, and we're very happy to have them locked. Now we'll be in the process of ordering the molds to have them really injected and have the object in hand. Can't wait. Regarding the social studies, really the first part was about gathering data. There are several studies ongoing. You have the consumer engagement with the reuse system. For this, you had interviews of consumers through their act of shopping and packing, how they are around the home. If I'm saying incorrect things, don't hesitate to correct me. Partner from Sheffield. We also wanted to have a cross-cultural study for the reuse for the lunch on the go. There were a lot of video, photograph. The consumers were asked to keep packaging diary on WhatsApp. They could really testify about how they interact with the reuse system.
There are a lot of notes from our partners at Sheffield. They really went in supermarkets, in cafes, to see how people interact, even if they're not, even not talking to the customer, just watching how they interact, how they misunderstand sometimes the system, what they instinctively want to do with them. That's it. There were participants recruited online for questionnaires or for focus studies. And so a lot of participants actually, and for now we do have one paper published in Sustainability. It's open access, and it's about one of the studies regarding especially the concerns about contamination. So it's about what should you say to a customer? Has it been washed? Should you say nothing? Actually, so spoiler alert, if you talk about cleanliness of a reusable packaging to a consumer, they will think about, oh, it could be dirty. And actually, it's counterproductive to communicate about this. So, super interesting. A lot of studies, and it's not my field, so I cannot talk as an expert, but we do have a partner in the room, so thanks, Sarah. This was for social studies. Okay, I'm talking a lot. Regarding the technical aspects. So this is for the material selection. First, we did a bibliographical study to assess what was already studied, what was on the market. Then we had a short list of material. When I say short list, it was around 10 material that were good candidates for the selection. And what we did was really a material study where we injected all the material in the same shape, rather either boxes or just dog bell for tests or just plates, just to assess them. We applied the first aging protocol in cooperation with our technical centers working on the aging and washing protocol. So what we did is put them in contact with food, have them heated and then washed 10 times. And also you have the control group without heating. And you can see that you have a lot of impact of the heating, of course. It's not very much surprising, but it allowed us really to rank the different materials. We did also some characterizations that were easy to do, just to really quickly select or exclude materials. And the overall conclusion of this work was polyesters behave better than polyolefins. You can see some of the prototypes on the booth if you're interested in the results. And all the results, I will mention it later also, but they will be public. So all the results of this study will be available in 2025 once it's accepted by the European Commission. And also this work allowed us to move forward for the material selection for each use case. So now it's selected for each use case, including the constraints. We keep working on the topic of materials regarding the optimization, at least for the knowledge, because even if we cannot implement them for the large-scale demonstration, we still can gather a lot of very precious knowledge for further packaging, for second generation or even later for the overall reuse market. This was for the technical aspect, I mean, at least the material and process. Regarding the economic, I'm really following the structure of the project. That's why you might have some back and forth. But regarding the economic, so earlier on, you might have heard Rosemary talking in the conference area. She's from Serious Business. They're the one really working on business strategy. They carried out cost-benefit analysis, really setting all the value chains for the different use cases, which they are all very specific. And the idea really is to identify the different parts. It's really not my field. I'm very sorry about this. As I said, we cannot be expert in all those fields, but the cost-benefit analysis has been carried out, and it will be linked with the life cycle cost analysis as well. And the second aspect of the economic studies is the identification of the best drivers to improve the profitability when you switch from single-use to reusable packaging. So for that, there was a lot of discussion with all the actors of the value chain, from the manufacturers to the recyclers, including the consumers, etc. And the interviews also are carried out with the stakeholders of the use cases. So first, it was in general for reuse, and second was very specific to the use cases we're working with. Regarding the quality and safety, so also quite some achievements. So there was a first design for decontamination equipment that is ready. We set up a first protocol for accelerated aging, first working on existing packaging to apply it to packaging developed during the project. We selected also what to characterize, because we could characterize anything, but we really have to focus on what matters for the application. On the other side, we have the contamination tests. So it's about the chemical stability. We do have an aspect regarding microbiology safety, but so we are really on both aspects. We measured the overall migration on existing packaging, and what we observed is that, of course, through the uses, the overall migration, unfortunately, increased, which is not very good because it means that more molecules are coming out of the packaging. So we don't want that. For the microplastic aspect, so we do have a first protocol for washing and collecting the microplastic to be able to count them, to analyze them. Unless we cannot read very well, but here we want to have a pilot line to be able to wash in large scale during the large scale demonstration, and this has been set up. Either one from Eternity System, not far from here, it's in Lys in the south of Paris. Regarding the large-scale demonstration, so as I said, we started a bit earlier to tackle this, even if it will be in place for 2025. What we decided on was to identify key parameters, KPI, I forgot, key performance indicators. And what we chose was to count the number of cycles per containers, and to assess the share of business when one place is proposing both single-use versus reusable packaging. So those are the two KPI we want to measure for each use cases. And as I said, Vital being on the market, we could start assessing those KPIs for their venue, already existing venues. So here, for example, for the duration of this phase, they could count the number of checkouts of their packaging. And finally, regarding the impact assessment, so we, as I said earlier, actually, we chose the methodology and we did the first screening for all the for 5 out of 6 use cases. So regarding the life cycle analysis, the classic one regarding environment, the cost analysis, and the social life cycle analysis. And we're preparing for the full assessment because the screening are like a quick and dirty LCA. It's not solid. We want to have robust assessment at the end of the project, and again, it will all be published and available. We actually do have a calendar of publication. So please note that in yellow, it's the end of the reporting period to the European Commission. This, I know where it ends. I cannot tell you when it will be validated. It should be in the weeks following this moment. So I hope in June we will have the first deliverable published on the website, actually. And as I said, it's about mostly the specification, the first methodology and screenings. Actually, if you're interested in LCA, you will have the screening available on the website very soon. And also we have a first review on legislative policy, for example, trying to, as I said, compare the different regulation in the different countries, make sure that we do talk about the same thing. So I said I have the definitions of the different notions in this deliverable. Next year, you will mostly have all the technical reports, material choices, the decontamination, etc. will be mostly next year. So social study reports, CBA, yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, you will find this all again by demand on the website in the booth. And at the end of the project, it will be really the conclusion of all the large-scale demonstration, the final design rules, all we can provide to help anyone who wants to switch to reuse from single use. And what I'm especially proud about is the very quality group that we're working with. Really, it's been 2 years that we're working with, again, 20 organizations, a lot of people in those organizations, and I'm very proud and happy of all the work carried out. So again, thank you to all partners. Thank you for your attention, and I'm here to take your questions if you have any.
I don't know. Oh, here we go. Obviously, there's like a big scope of the project and a lot of partners. Can you share how much funding has been? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to share it. It's so the overall project is around 7 million euros. Some partners are not financed 100%, so I'd say the finance itself would be around 6 million euros. It mostly goes in personal cost actually, and in the mold to inject the packaging. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you understood everything.
Can you hear me okay? A bit closer. Oh, yeah, that's better. Just an advert for the social science work, really. We're looking for schemes. We're collecting schemes that offer either penalties or incentive for reuse. So if you think you might not be on our radar and you want to tell us about that, then we'd really love to talk to you about it.
So I should relate this message really. It's the work you carried out on the review regarding the impact of penalty and incentives. It's to know what's the most relevant actually. How to increase the return rate. Should you have a high deposit when you buy it, or should you have a library system? Like you don't pay anything at the start, but if you don't bring it back, then you have a fine. What is the best strategy is something that we want to assess by collecting the feedbacks from the schemes that are already existing. Spread the word, please. Thanks. Well, I think we still have 2 minutes. Don't be shy. Hey!
Hi, yeah, I'm Wayne from the Pack Hub. So the packaging you're developing, you're saying that they're going to be standard, so they'll be available for other businesses to use, will they, other brands?
When I talked about standards, it's true that it shouldn't be misunderstood with the standardization of the packaging itself. I think that it's a bit premature for Buddie-Pack to really say we should go for this or this shape. So the shape themselves, we have to agree actually on the intellectual property for each use case, because they might actually be, the shape might be retained by the use case end user. What we will provide for the field would be design rules, would be all the information about the technical studies that we carried out. This would be available. The shape themselves, I don't think there will be. And for the standardization that we want to contribute to, it's more about the standardization about the aging protocol to apply, to characterize, to say that the packaging will be reusable or not. But it's true that standardization of the packaging itself should occur at some point. We need to converge and not multiply the shape, the materials. You have to find the right balance.
Do you have any targets in terms of number of cycles the packaging are supposed to sustain?
The highest. Now, as in terms of targets, minimum we aim 20 cycles. It also depends on the break-even point that we identified in the screening studies of LCA. It's the moment when the environmental impact starts to be better when you're reusable rather than single-use. But of course, the higher we reach, the better. I hope I answered the question. I know that Vital claim that they do have some tray that outlive 300 cycles or so. So really it depends. It might be one lucky tray, but we do hope to have at least 100 cycle in theory, because during the duration of the project, the large-scale demonstration might be too short to see as many cycles. So that's why we need the accelerated aging protocol to be able to correlate the aging we see and what could be in terms of number of cycles. And I think that's it. Don't hesitate to keep asking questions and discussing with us on the booth, so G3, G4. And thanks again for your attention.